kept on pushing her just like my folks pushed me. That's what's made a difference in our lives, and it's going to make an even greater difference in your lives. Not just for your own success, but for the success of the United States of America. Because we live in a new world now. It used to be that you didn't have to have an education. If you were willing to work hard, you could go to a factory somewhere and get a job. Those times are past. Believe it or not, when you go out there looking for a job, you're not just competing against people in Nashville or Atlanta. You're competing against young people in Beijing and Mumbai. That's some tough competition. Those kids are hungry. They're working hard. And you'll need to be prepared for it. And as a country, we need all of our young people to be ready. We can't just have some young people successful. We've got to have every young person contributing, earning those high school diplomas and then earning those college diplomas or getting certified in a trade or a profession. We can't succeed without it. Through education, you can also better yourselves in other ways. You learn how to think critically and find solutions to unexpected challenges. I remember we used to ask our teachers, why am I going to need algebra? Well, you may not have to solve for X to get a good job or to be a good parent, but you will need to think through tough problems. You'll need to think on your feet. You'll need to know how to gather facts and evaluate information. So, math teachers, you can tell your students that the president says they need algebra. Education also teaches you the value of discipline. That the greatest rewards come not from instant gratification, but from sustained effort and from hard work. This is a lesson that's especially true today in a culture that prizes flash over substance, that tells us that the goal in life is to be entertained, that says you can be famous just for being famous. May you get on a reality show, don't know what you've done, suddenly you're famous. But that's not going to lead to lasting, sustained achievement. And finally, with the right education, both at home and at school, you can learn how to be a better human being. For when you read a great story or you learn about an important moment in history, it helps you imagine what it would be like to walk in somebody else's shoes, to know their struggles. The success of our economy will depend on your skills, but the success of our community will depend on your ability to follow the golden rule, to treat others as you would like to be treated. We've seen how important this is even in the past few weeks as communities here in Memphis and all across the South have come together to deal with floodwaters and to help each other in the aftermath of terrible tornadoes. All of these qualities, empathy, discipline, the capacity to solve problems, the capacity to think critically, these skills don't just change how the world sees us, they change how we see ourselves. They allow each of us to seek out new horizons and new opportunities with confidence, with the knowledge that we're ready, that we can face obstacles and challenges and unexpected setbacks. That's the power of your education. That's the power of the diploma that you received today. And this is something that Booker T. Washington himself understood. Think about it. He entered this world a slave on a southern plantation. But he would leave this world as the leader of a growing civil rights movement and the president of the world-famous Tuskegee Institute. Booker T. Washington believed that change and equality would be won in the classroom. So he convinced folks to help him buy farmland. Once he had the land, he needed a school. So he assigned his first students to actually build the chairs and the desks, and even a couple of the classrooms. You thought your teachers were tough. Booker T. Washington ran a tight ship. He'd ride the train to Tuskegee and scare some of the new students. This is before YouTube and TMZ, so the kids didn't recognize him. He'd walk up to them and say, "Oh, you're heading to Tuskegee. I heard the work there is hard. I hear they give the students too much to do. I hear the food is terrible. You probably won't last 3 months." But the students would reply they weren't afraid of hard work. They were going to complete their studies no matter what Booker T. Washington threw at them. And in that way, he prepared them, because life will throw some things at you. Truth is, not a single one of the graduates here today has had as easy. Not a single one of you had anything handed to you on a silver platter. You had to work for it. You had to earn it. And most of all, you had to believe in yourselves. I think of Chris's stories and what he's faced in his life. Lost his father to violence at the age of 4. Had a childhood illness that could have been debilitating. But somehow he knew in his heart that he could take a different path. I think of all the graduates here who had to leave their homes when their apartments were torn down, but who took 2 buses each morning to come back to Booker T. Washington. I think of, where's Iran? Iran's known a lot of setbacks in her young life. There was a period when she lashed out and she got into trouble and she made mistakes, and when she first came to Booker T. Washington, she struggled. Is that right? There are plenty of people out there who would have counted Iran out. A lot of people who would have thought of her as another statistic. But that's not how the teachers here at Booker T. Washington saw her. And that's not how Iran came to see herself. So she kept coming back to school, and she didn't give up, and she didn't quit. And in time, she became a great student. And she remembered what Principal Kiner told her. You can't let the past get you down. You have to let it motivate you. And so now here Iran is graduating. She's going to keep studying to get her barber's certificate so she can cut hair and save for college. She's working toward her dream to becoming a lawyer. She's got a bright future. Everybody here has got a unique story like that to tell. Each of you knows what it took for you to get here. But in reaching this milestone, there's a common lesson shared by every graduate in this hall. And Chris said it himself in a recent interview. It's not where you are or what you are. It's who you are. Yes, you're from South Memphis. Yes, you've always been underdogs. Nobody's handed you a thing. But that also means that whatever you accomplish in your life, you will have earned it. Whatever rewards and joys you reap, you'll appreciate them that much more because they will have come through your own sweat and tears, products of your own effort and your own talents. You've shown more grit and determination in your childhoods than a lot of adults ever will. That's who you are. So class of 2011, the hard road does not end here. Your journey has just begun. Your diploma is not a free pass. It won't protect you against every setback or challenge or mistake. You'll make some, I promise. You're going to have to keep working hard. You're going to have to keep pushing yourselves. And you'll find yourself sometime in situations where folks have had an easier time. They're a little bit ahead of you. You're going to have to work harder than they are. And you may be frustrated by that. But if you do push yourselves, if you build on what you've already accomplished here, then I couldn't be more confident about your futures. I'm hopeful and I'm excited about what all of you can achieve. And I know that armed with the skills and experience and the love that you've gained at Booker T. Washington High School, you're ready to make your mark on the world. So thank you. Thanks for inspiring me. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
And now they're going to hand out some diplomas after quite a memorable speech by the President of the United States in Memphis, Tennessee.
You know, I've been asking, you think he could have made it as a warrior? I think maybe he could have. What do you think?
Well, he'd have been right up there with the best of us.
A wonderful speech. I think the kids